rounds in 3 different countries, and this 4th race weekend of the campaign will bring us to the mid-season mark in our calendar. Visits to Aragon in July, Jerez in September, Albacete in October, and a second trip to Valencia are all still to come. But as we head to the mid-season mat for the CEV Repsol, with races in 3 series, the FIM Moto3 Junior World Championship, the Moto2 European Championship, and the European Talent Cup. Just a single race for the European Talent Cup riders this weekend after their doubles in Estoril and Valencia. 2 races in Moto3. Introduce you to these riders, making our way back now towards the 4th, 5th and 6th rows on the grid. I already said we had a couple of surprising qualifying, power-packed 3rd and 4th rows of the grid. 2 altogether. That left those riders with a lot of work to do on Chu and Baltus after a penalty.
From there, fairly new to this class now, but Canon Chu especially, you know, he's the points leader in the Red Bull rookies. He's got some good form. He's had some good pace here as well, a few points finishes, but especially they were very competitive, the 2 on check of the grid, and see what he can do, because he's definitely out of position, as you could say, for his pace this weekend.
Yep, the order, see which of the riders on the front row makes the break as we get underway. A bit of lift there from Garcia, but he's managed to get away pretty well nonetheless. It's the number 11 then who leads them as they come down towards the right hand of the first turn here in Barcelona, but there's a pack swarming behind them. They're 3 abreast down into turn number 1, and it's the number 52 of Alcoba who's managed to hit the front. So strong start.
Such a long straight like you do here at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, but a few people have done it before, like Maverick Vinales.
Mentioned Wong Tananon. Well, he's managed to work his way through and up into 4th position down the start-finish straight from 6th to 4th, and that's the advantage of the slipstream once again that we were talking about. And now Jeremy Alcoba starting to come back through the field. The new fastest lap of the race from Ayagura, as you can see there. He's down in 5th position at the moment, having been passed by Wong Tananon down the straights.
Yeah, definitely. Agura so far has had the superstar start, really. It's exactly what he needed. Obviously, podium finisher. He's a race winner last year as well. And he's had a bit of an inconsistent start to the season. So the important thing for him is now to just bank those big points.
This Moto3 race, as perhaps you'd expect on the basis of form. And Manuel Pagliani has been sucked into that group behind him now. Sergio Garcia in the slipstream in 2nd position. At what moment will he decide to duck out of it? He's got to be careful here because he's got Raul Fernandez trying to come through as well. Fernandez is going to go onto the standard racing line. Garcia moves to block, and there's no change this time around into turn number 1.
Yeah, obviously they've not let him get away, but maybe if they don't want to lead at the moment, if they're happy with the pace of Pagliani, they might not, you know, try and make that move, or maybe they think it's not worth the risk at the moment. But Pagliani's doing a good job. It's good pace out.
Back to 6th position then, as those 2 swap and change for Pagliani, who still leads, the pole sitter. He dropped back initially. Now he might well drop back again because he's got 5 or 6 riders right on his tail into turn 1. Again, he holds the line, but this time it's Wong Tananon who makes his way through. He's now up into 2nd position. Those Estrella Galicia bikes down to 3rd and 5th respectively. It's Garcia 3rd ahead of Agura, and then Alcoba just Manuel Pagliani.
Yeah, definitely. Pagliani's so solid in that braking zone to turn 1. They just they'll have to create something a little more special than just slipstream and then pulling out, I think, to take that from him. But obviously experience is really paying off. But now, yeah, Wong Tananon's made something that does get penalties applied for it. So they just, you know, if you make a mistake and you don't gain from it, that's okay. But if you start, you know, just cheekily using a little bit more of the tarmac than you should, then that's not.
In now to lap number 7. Still Manuel Pagliani, the pole sitter, who leads. He's been defending well. We've said it over and over again. Great job down into turn number 1 in that heavy braking zone at the end of the longest straight here in Catalunya, holding his position and holding firm. It's Agura and Wong Tananon directly behind at the moment. Agura, after that overtaking manoeuvre on Wong Tananon, who'd fought his way through quite brilliantly to 2nd position. Down the inside now, the number Sia breaking to the inside line at the moment, fighting with the number 52, Jeremy Alcoba, who sits in 4th position. But again, the riders holding station. Nobody too keen to potentially hold one another up or get involved in a battle when they can hold station and then make that break in the latter stage of this fight for 2nd position has enabled Pagliani to break ever so slightly away. It's not enough at the moment to consider Garcia and Jeremy Alcoba. Garcia bumped his way past. Alcoba's now done the same to recover 2nd position. And while these 2 are knocking spots off one another, Manuel
be on the podium. Just in what order?
Well, we'll wait and see if Cursor, the commentator, messes all of that up as the number 52, Jeremy Alcoba, thinks about during this race and sort of fighting their way through to the front. We're going to see it again here. The number 96 gets stranded up on the outside line, Pagliani. He clips the back of the number 52, Jeremy Alcoba, and that sends him skyward out towards the outside line. But as you said, Fran, a good save, and he is at least going to be able to bank some decent points from this one. He's at the tail of the group, and if he does manage to regroup, he may be able to salvage something even better than that in the couple of laps that are remaining. We're back with the leading group, the top three, who is leading that group behind. And I did say that the number 96 would be moving through, and Pagliani is fighting his way back through towards the front of that group, and he's down the inside now of Raul Fernandez and recovering 5th position.
Yeah, obviously after that drama, the good news for him is that his key championship rival is in the same group that he is, so he can still even not lose ground to him, although obviously he's going to be really frustrated with that having happened and not now being in the fight for the win. But that's the good part of it. He's right with Fernandez now, so he can either...
So that might be too much to recover on the final lap, but he may get close to 3rd at very least. It's we're into the final lap now, and this is where the big moves are going to be made for the race lead. It's Alcoba out in front. He's got track position advantage, and there's only 0.3 of a second covering the top 3, and you can see it quite clearly. Pagliani breaking away from the rest of the group. He looks settled in 4th position, but these top 3 positions are anything but settled.
Yeah, definitely. I think Pagliani now will be hoping there's some drama and some serious battling up ahead so he can close in on them. Really, really impressive recovery, and he's really closing in on them. Wong Tananon looks like he's struggling to see Wong Tananon there looking over his shoulder and really didn't want to see that 96 close as it is, I imagine.
These two pretty bikes, 9th and 10th in the championship coming into this race. It's going to be a bumper haul of points as extreme battle to the line. It's Alcoba who runs very, very wide and possibly even incurring the wrath of the stewards. We'll wait and see on that one. Alcoba in the drag race to the line leads Garcia, but it looks as though Garcia may have just snatched it, and he certainly thinks so. And Garcia comes through on the final turn. New fastest lap of the race on the 4th position. And I was going to say he was leading the best of the rest, but he managed to break quite clear from the best of the rest in the end, and pulling 1.5 seconds clear of Stefano Nepper. Big story in that one, our race winner. I said that it was the final lap that it was all going to go off, and it did indeed. Sergio Garcia fighting his way through. The riders with good spirit after that one. There was some outstanding between Pagliani and Alcoba. Alcoba seized the race lead and the advantage from that, but it was Garcia in the closing stages. Alcoba just got it down, and we're going to have an opportunity now to take a look at the official results of race number 1 in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. Back to the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya for the podium celebrations then. Wong Tananon in 3rd position, Alcoba in 2nd, and Sergio Garcia, your race winner. Outstanding efforts from all 3 of them. Wong Tananon just losing pace in the closing stages there after a very strong race down to the line by less than 1/10 of a second to take the race victory. 3rd position then, well celebrated there by Wong Tananon, and well, it should be indeed. Down in 21st position in the... Valencia. He hasn't scored in the other 3 races this season, so he did have ground to make up in the championship overall. He moves on to 50 championship points, and in the end a damage limitation ride for both Raul Fernandez and Manuel Pagliani. Pagliani making up some ground there with 4th position compared to 8th position for Raul Fernandez, but the gap between them stood at 20 points coming into this race. So this championship far from settled as we head towards the mid-season phase, of course, in the majority of these categories. And now it's time for champagne.